Right. 3 minutes. Oh, I'll give 2 more minutes for people to show up. Glad you've been looking forward to it, Logan. And hello, everybody. I too am excited for this. While we're waiting for people to join, let's just see if we can't find some stories ahead of time, which I should be doing well ahead of time, but I am lazy. Maybe that. Yeah, Nick is just so damn amazing. Okay. Think I found something semi worth attention. I don't know. Probably going to be not great, but whatever. You never know. You never know with these things. Humming my music, humming my multi-timbral atonal music. Raccoons, just because it's afternoon doesn't mean you can't have coffee. This subreddit looks so epic. Yeah, I love the flea and tick ads. They're great. I'm gonna keep trying to block them, but they just keep coming back. All right. We're going to start off. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me every time, Kayla, because I definitely super need it. I always forget to zoom in. There we go. Definitely remind me because I will forget. Because it is, I don't know, I got up like maybe an hour ago and, just don't have my full mental faculties at disposal. Okay. So we're going to start off easy. Um, as usual, please, if you have a suggestion, let me know. Um, yeah, otherwise, I will just have to spend time looking for them because I'm lazy. But here we go. Creepypasta subreddit. Those Damned Bootlegs by Zone Are Zonier? Zonery? I don't know. This is on the Creepypasta subreddit. Hello there. My name is Liam, which spelled backwards is male, and I like to collect bootlegs for fun. Um, I'm guessing this is bootleg videos. There's some special charm with them, and that's why I collect them. I tend not to get scared with them, especially the ones that, excuse me, that just add a bunch of random gore. I've never really been scared by them, except three. And we're just going to go right into it. Bootleg 1 questions. I got this bootleg at a nearby thrift shop. I actually didn't know it was a bootleg since it was just a USB, or at least that's what I have thought. I what I thought. Would have thought? Either would have or take the have out. When I got home, I plugged it into my computer and went to check the files just in case if anything was in there. There, I saw one item, questions.mp4. The video. The video started with two crudely drawn stick figures. It was definitely made in MS Paint. Okay. I have a screenshot of it. Text appears saying, why? At first I laughed. It was like this for about half a minute or so. Is this already like... This is a bootleg of something that may or may not exist, and it's already in the lost episode format with the timestamps. Oh. Anyway, after that happened, it shows another text. This time it was gibberish. I have no idea what it says, but here it is. T Asiv Warf Hibtiz. It is way too early in the morning for me to try to decipher that, so someone else do it if you want to. Maybe it was another language. Maybe it was just jumbled. Maybe it meant nothing. But I wasn't scared just yet, you see. Then the video cut to white, which was really scary. After only a few seconds, not long at all, it showed a photo. It was a photo of an old abandoned house. Then it showed a video. It was the quality you'd expect out of an old camcorder. I was intrigued. I had always had a fascination with exploring abandoned buildings. I just never had the courage to do it myself. Okay. Everything else aside in this story so far, which is very kind of blunt in its presentation, and it's just kind of skipping around from point to point without any real narrative flow. We're not really setting up any suspense. That all aside, I like the just the sentiment here of I've always had a fascination with exploring abandoned buildings. I just never had the courage to do it myself. That I think is a very real and common feeling. I share that feeling. I would love to do urban exploration. I've only ever done it once in my life, and it was really fun. But oh my god, fuck off, fuck off, seriously. God, it's just so annoying because it's constantly going off. Yeesh. Okay. Sorry. Um anyway, so I mean that's nice, but it's also kind of it almost feels a little bit superfluous because the focus of this is supposed to be I collect bootleg DVDs or sorry, just media, I guess. Um and like it's just it feels like we're just kind of piling in too much all the time. But whatever. Moving on. The video showed off the house until it got to one room. The room. Wow. Let's just say this. The rest of the house, think of a standard house in a random area. A standard house. Okay. Now imagine that, but completely destroyed and has been for many years. Now this room, imagine it in perfect condition. This is I don't mind that it's conversational. A lot of creepypasta is. A lot of it's kind of just like someone getting their thoughts out on paper. That's okay. But, you know, if you're going to write this way, it would do well to read it back to yourself aloud. Because if it's this truncated, it's almost a little exhausting to read. And not just like the way I'm reading it on a stream right now, but even just reading it in my head, it's just da 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 da. Like you don't really get a sense for what's happening because it's just so staccato. In that room, the only things there were a treadmill and a hatch on the ground. The hatch starts to open and the recorder starts running away. The video ends almost immediately. Okay, that could be an eerie scene. Unfortunately, it's just the way this is being delivered is like someone ran up to you after they saw something and they're out of breath and they're trying to tell you what happened, but because they're constantly catching their breath, you're only getting like just the bare minimum. And it's everything, all the suspense and tension is just deflated. It's very, I don't know, man. I took the USB with the video and wondered what was all that about. Why would someone be there under the hatch? It wasn't even the last room of the house. How would you know? Well, I guess maybe you could see more rooms from the outside. I put the USB in a plastic bag and dug it up somewhere. I think you mean buried it somewhere? This might be another case of English as not a first language. Looking back, I don't know why I did that. Maybe I should have kept it, but I did. As in, I did not keep it, I buried it. I bet by now nature has gone through the bag and destroyed the USB. It was stupid of me. Probably not. It would take a while. Chase. This one I actually can't show due to one image. Better be safe than sorry. But this one was on a CD. So is this the second one or the third one? Because this says second video down here. Okay. This was found after buying a PS1 game online. Before you ask, no, I didn't get it for free. The game itself we don't need to worry about, but the CD we do. The physical CD? When I opened it up, the CD looked normal, and I put the game in my PS2. Instead of a game, however, I got a movie. At first, though, wow, are you kidding me? I paid money for this? Then I saw what it was. Okay. The second video, it was a highly detailed animation of a man running from someone. It was in first person, and you were in the point of view of the person chasing him. The scenery looked very familiar. I can't put my finger on it, but it was familiar. Later, it skips to a scene in some cavern where the man is on the ground, probably dead. His hand was on his chest. I think he might have gotten stabbed there. Later, the position freezes as before it was moving all around like someone holding a handheld camera. A robed figure comes out wearing some mask over his head. He pulls out a gas can and pours it on the man. Later, he gets a match, and yeah, you get the point. But here's a terrifying part. Someone possibly being burned by a robed figure. That's not terrifying, but just you wait. Oh boy. It started to transition, revealing it was a real video. Wait, so someone filmed all this and then rotoscoped over it? Why would someone go to this much work? Like, yeah, I guess that's creepy, but it's also just kind of what? I don't know how I didn't notice, but that's what it was, and I don't know how I was still hooked on watching. The game, I put it back in its case, and well, I actually forgot what I did with it. Cool. Let's read some comments really quickly. I've always thought a story from the point of view of a video store owner talking about weird tapes he keeps aside would be strong, but if I did it, it'd just be lost episode again. Yeah, I mean, I think you could still do that, and then not be too similar, personally. Now I want a story where the narrator is desperately trying to tell a story, but has to write in Braille, so their struggle is palpable. The narrator is terrible at collecting. That is correct. Or narrator describes things as horribly as possible. That's just most stories. Oh man. Okay. Blah 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 blah. What you did. What you did was sent. Why did this go to second person? What you did was sent to me in the mail. As you can see, there's a pattern. I never willingly bought any of these bootlegs. This one was in those CD jewel cases, and on it was written in black marker what you did. Oh, okay. See, grammar. We need to indicate that this is a title. Because, yes, I kind of get that, like, maybe Chase could be a title. And, well, actually, we didn't really establish that. This should have quotation marks or be italicized, because otherwise, you do, it happens here. You got to do it here too, man. Anyway, the third video. The video started with a picture of the abandoned house we saw. It was like this for a few seconds and then showed the footage of the abandoned house exploring again. Except this time it was the full video. Uncut. Turns out he explored a few more rooms beforehand, and they were shocking to say nonetheless. God. Oh, punctuation. I don't know how to describe them, but let's just say that man wasn't the only one. This is so weird. It's just a very strange way of describing found footage that you've come across. And it's like, almost the exact opposite way you want to describe horrific snuff films. Um, I don't want to sound cruel, but people take this as an example of what not to do when you're trying to describe creepy footage. Because, hmm, hmm. Okay. Finally, we get to where the first video left off. I have no idea, like, where we are in the timeline here. I think the first video he watched was out of sequence. There's so little detail that I'm not even gonna bother to try to piece it together. And I also want to bring up, and I think I've said this before, this reads like an indie horror game that people make in Unity that I've been watching a lot of Let's Plays of, and it's I remember saying a long time ago, people who write lost episodes and stuff like that, it'd be cool if people just made the games instead. Because, even if they're not that, stellar of a game, at least it's a little bit more creative than just going, Sonic, Bleeding Eyes, it's a bit nicer to see a realized vision. That being said, don't make this into a game because I've seen this game before and it's not that interesting and it's a bit broken. Okay, finally we get to where the first video left off. It pauses for a second and says, "Remember this?" Then it cuts to black before saying, "I know you do" in white text. Oh god, what could this all mean? All three of these bootlegs were connected in some way. Some cult, I guess? I don't really get it. Neither do you, probably. Yeah, no, I don't. Okay. Why would I be targeted with this video, though? Is it because of how I handled the previous bootlegs? Oh no, the screen stayed like this for a while, and I assumed it was over before I could turn it off. The phone rang. We are having really bad tense problems here. The phone conversation. I know you do. Who is this? It's me, Liam, the one trying to show your true colors. How do you know my name? Everyone does. At least soon they will. Look, what's your problem? I know what you've done. Here's the deal. Give back the USB and the game and give it back. Where? Yeah, okay, where? You will soon find out. You watched the video yet? Yeah, it just ended with white text. You called right after it did that. That's not where it ends. What? You know it doesn't end. You just don't want to see how it ends. I know you do. Oh boy. Okay. Continuing the third video. After the phone call, I looked back to the screen. It still said the white text, and I was like, guess I have to watch it more. I got on the couch and continued to watch for a few more seconds before finally it went back into the video. The video continued with the man running and he tries to go downstairs. Strangely enough, I don't remember him being upstairs. Maybe the "I Know You Do" was playing over the actual chase, whilst muting it. I don't know. While going downstairs, he trips and falls, and you get a few good glimpses of the man and the robed figure. It was definitely the same man who got burnt to a crisp in the second video. In the end, the man gets dragged, camera attached to wrist, and later gets dragged back to room through the hatch and put in the same place he gets burnt. And then the robed figure turns off the camera. Okay. So basically, it just showed what happened before what we saw, but we just end up back where we were. Why would he want me to see that? Doesn't he want to get it covered up? I just dug up the USB, somehow not damaged. I'm currently looking for the PS1 game. I hope my memory comes back and I'll remember where I put it. I'll make sure to update soon. So this is kind of like our narrator Liam is part of this and has amnesia because he's part of the cult or something. That's what they're going for. It's just the mystery is so poorly presented that I don't care, and it's not very interesting. It could be. Spooky found footage cults can be creepy. They're just not done very well, unfortunately. And here's, is that grade A under A? Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was Those Damned Bootlegs by Zonier. That it doesn't end part made the bottom fall out of the story. No, Cleric, this didn't have a bottom. I don't think it really did. This needs to be completely just back to the drawing board. Try to re-present this this premise. Just and the format's not terrible. I found some tapes. Let's go through them. That's tried and true. It can still work. But like this should be maybe a subtitle instead. You could be creative with, instead of just kind of doing block paragraphs like this. You could do something with this. It could be presented a lot better. This is another thing where I'd make like a video project out of it. It'd be kind of hard to do, but like if I were Frosted Mini Fears, I would totally adapt this and just like make it actually spooky. But that's the praise I can offer this. I think the premise is strong. It just does not work. I'm sorry. Okay. Time to search for more stuff. I'm gonna hate myself, but I'm gonna go to no sleep. And we're gonna look for a story. Oh boy. Why do I do this to myself? My cat just opened the door. What do you want? You have food. I know you do. Part 3, Part 8. Series. You know what? You guys are going to see what I see. So here we are. The thing in the alley. How long are you? Okay. You're not too long. Let's do this. Someone else has a suggestion. Okay, fine. I'll look at the most recent post on the frickin' Creepypasta subreddit. It'll shut you up, Slime Beast. Hey, it's by Spoopy Scary 1. It has to be. It has to be. I'm gonna upvote that just to spite you. Anyway. The Thing in the Alley. Off of No Sleep. Posted by Nick TBA. Nick's to be announced, apparently. That's not the most recent thing. Oh, God. Sort by new. Wait. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's pretty good. It's pretty good drawing. Big nerd. No, I like that. I could remove that if I wanted to because I have mod powers. But no, I'm not that kind of person. Anyway. Really creepy. Really creepy. I'm not a boomer. I am firmly a millennial. Whatever that means anymore. Alright. The Thing in the Alley. By Nick TBA. I live in a first floor apartment with a window facing the alleyway. There's a narrow passage between my building and the next which keeps the two separated. It would be unsafe if there was access to my apartment from the alley, but there's a tall fence at the mouth of the passage, and the passage itself is narrow enough that I don't think anyone could squeeze through it without hurting themselves. At least I didn't think that until last week. Well, in typical No Sleep fashion, I guess we don't have to wonder about whatever got in, how it got in. Like, why do you have to do this? Did you hear that front loading? I heard it from like 3 miles away. So I was walking around my apartment, thinking about exercising, but not actually doing it, pacing by the lone window in my unit and glancing through the passage out to the alley proper. I often see people moving through the alleyway. There is a bar nearby in another apartment complex on this same block, so it's not unheard of. Well, I used to see people, but I haven't seen anything like that lately for obvious reasons. Oh, so this is like modern day self isolation. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. No, in fact, it's been pretty quiet outside. I sometimes will hear a rustle and see one of the homeless people that dominates my neighborhood digging through the trash cans. But as I was saying last week, I saw someone standing out there, but it wasn't the usual crowd. The bar was closed, and something about them just told me they weren't homeless. I don't know the best way to describe it, but they were naked. Okay. At least it looked like they were naked from where I was standing. The light in the alley is faint, a lone bulb out there, and their body was kind of half hidden by the wall. So you may have you may have seen someone's top half that may or may not have had a shirt on. It sounds like you barely can see this person whatsoever. The person was just there staring down my little passage right at my window at me. It freaked me out enough that I shut my should be blinds, the long vertical kind that always get hung up and caught on each other. Whenever you try to turn them flat, I never shut my blinds. I ignored it. Clearly you didn't if you were really freaked out about it. Not worth getting freaked out about. I thought. The quarantine has been bringing out the weirdest people lately, I'd noticed. You need to explain that a bit more. Cause like, okay, that's not been my experience during quarantine right now. And I don't know. The quarantine has been bringing out the weirdest people lately, I'd noticed. Anyway, I wasn't concerned. No, I'm gonna stick on this. You can't just drop that. That's an important detail. Because it helps kind of ground the story and flesh out the details and the setting a bit more. And you haven't done that. It's kind of just, I live in an alley and there's a bar nearby and some homeless people, but weird shit's been happening lately. I barely saw this one figure. Anyway, like there's not enough to this yet. And my phone's going off. Anyway, I wasn't concerned because the passage was too narrow for anyone to get through, as I said in my windows. We see, but you've also said that that's not the case. So why are you saying it now? You've directly contradicted yourself because your front loading is so important because this is a no sleep story. As I said, and my windows were thick and locked. And this was all assuming they got over the fence to begin with. During the day, I get a little stir crazy, so I've taken to doing a walk around my block at least once a day. I've been able to hear construction from my apartment, so knew something was going on. I would not think construction would be going on right now. It's definitely not going on in my city. And if this is supposed to be taking place during quarantine, no, I don't think so. But I was still surprised to see them renovating the apartment blocks behind me. I thought all work like that had stopped for the time being. Yeah. Okay, so this is something you need to explain. Like, if it's this important to you, you should probably investigate it. I don't know. It was an old building, so I wasn't too surprised they were fixing it. That doesn't mean anything. It's a gathering of too many people. Like, what is this doing in here? What did surprise me was the fact that it was a complete gutting from head to toe. I could look through the windows of the building and see the floor ripped up, exposing ancient ground beneath the city that probably hadn't been seen since the 20s. That doesn't make it ancient. Looking at the comments. Relatable when it comes to blinds. Yes, David. Quarantine doesn't bring anybody out. There is this guy who runs past the alley every day wearing a military-grade gas mask. There is a homeless woman who has been self-isolating in the alley despite it being far too narrow. Give us the weird. Yeah, no, I agree. The formless blob of flesh and eyes is just self-isolating. Leave it alone. The next night, a bowl of popcorn in my hands as I sat down on the couch to watch a movie. The next night, a bowl of popcorn in my hands as I sat down on the couch to watch a movie, I saw the person outside my window again. I could see them a little better this time. It was a man, I think. The frame was gaunt, a withered husk, and I could definitely tell that they were naked now. I closed my blinds. You still don't explain how you can. I know you've explained the view out your window, but I still don't have a firm image of it. I closed my blinds again and just tried to ignore it. If I saw them again, I'd call the police. At least that's what I told myself at the time. Stop front loading. Except it happened again the next night. I didn't want to bother the police knowing they had so much worse things to deal with currently than a naked homeless man. This time I just stared him down, waiting for him to leave. He was as still as a statue, so I flipped him off, closed my blinds, and gave up. Again, trying to occupy my time, I spent the next morning cleaning. As I watered the plants on my windowsill, I looked out and noticed trash in my passage. That wasn't uncommon, I'd seen it before. Neighbors above me just dropping shit down, I assumed, or maybe trash from the alley getting funneled down the passage by the wind. But what really got me bothered was the candy wrapper, smashed into a puddle of mucky gravel and mud by a human footprint. Nothing could make me think differently. I was sure it was a footprint. I called the police. They told me it didn't sound like an emergency and that it was a problem for management. So I called management and they assured me that it wasn't a footprint, that no one could get into the passage. With that, they treated me like that was the end of the conversation. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like this is a time when social distancing is being enforced under penalty of like fines. So I would almost prefer it, or rather, I if I were writing this, I would say the police did come by, were concerned, but then told me, if they're not here, there's nothing much that we can do. We're kind of running a skeleton crew as is. Maybe we can get someone to come and patrol tonight. Because that is a thing that some police precincts do. That would be better than just, nah, sorry, click. The alley creeper was there again that night. I opened my window to yell at him, but he didn't move a muscle. He just stared at me with hollow eyes, his bony frame looking like it struggled for every breath. I could see the skin stretch thin over his rib cage with each breath, and his knife-sharp pelvic bones looked like they were going to slice through his hips. I struggled to sleep that night thinking about that skinny frame. I wondered if it was thin enough to squeeze down the passageway to my apartment. What is the point of this, is my question. Because the story has already blown its load with, there's someone stalking me and they look like a weird monster. There's been no build-up. It's just, they appeared, and I ignored them. And they kept coming by. So I called the police. And they're still there. Also, he's really thin. Okay. There's, you should have noticed little hints before then. You should have noticed trash buildup before then, and then the figure finally appears. If you want to build up paranoia like this, it has to start small. You can't just be like, oh no, creepy person outside. It's just too much. Oh no, why? Every time you try to run fucking updates, don't do that. This must be like why is it scheduled to run now? I don't know. Okay, I checked the passage the next morning. I noticed dirty smudges on the stonework of either side of the walls. It was a dark substance, and there were trails of it along the entire length of the passage. It was the candy. I opened my window to peek out. It was blood. I could tell by the bits of flesh stuck to the coagulated fluid. The passage was too small to fit down, but that didn't mean someone hadn't tried. I called management again, but by the time they came, rain had come and spattered away much of the evidence. I begged them to check the security camera in the alleyway. There's a security camera? Why was this not mentioned first? Why wouldn't you bring this up to the police and management first? Why are we just now... Oh, man, okay. They promised to do so, but I never heard back until that night. My night stalker was outside again. They stared right at me, their shoulders ragged, torn, and stained red. I grabbed a wooden dowel that was my closet rod and wedged it into my window frame, then closed the blinds, sitting up on my couch the entire night with a baseball bat in my hands. I had passed out at some point because I woke up and the bat was on the ground. I immediately ran to the window. The brick walls down the passage were marred more than ever with blood and bits of viscera. I screamed at the sight of the red handprint on the outside of my white windowsill. There was a voicemail from my landlord. The worry in his voice was palpable. The camera only picked up the edge of my passageway, but he was confident he could see someone twist awkwardly and fit into the passage. I'm waiting for the police to come now. I told them about the video and the handprint, but the rain is coming again. I can hear it pelting the passageway through my window. If the police can't help me, I'm stuck here with nowhere else to go. We'll see how close my visitor gets tonight. Do I dare click the link? Nope, that's just a link to their author page. Mr. Greenwitcher says, why would he not take a picture? Yeah, that's a really good point. Why would you not just fucking film this? Like, they're literally standing there, locking eyes with you. Oh, man. David says it's another series. No. We are not doing that. We are not doing that. Okay, so that was The Thing in My Alley by Nick TBA. Not how you do paranoia, stalker. Not how you do it. Seems to really misunderstand the quarantining right now. And I do appreciate that it wasn't just, coronavirus. It's just taking place during quarantine. That's fine. But then, what was that part about, oh, there's an old building and construction's happening? Like, that contributed absolutely nothing to the story, unless we're meant to guess, oh, it's something that got unearthed by the renovations. But you never followed up with anybody about that, so it was kind of just a pointless paragraph. I don't get it. I don't understand, other than basic paranoia and, oh, creepy monster, what this is supposed to accomplish. So, no thank you. No thank you. Raccoon says, Abysme, you know law stuff. Is it legal to take someone's picture without their permission? I'm not a lawyer. If you want a lawyer, go find a lawyer. Nothing I say is intended as, nor should be construed as legal advice. It's my understanding, just as a layperson, and this is something you can look up, that typically recording and taking pictures of people is not allowed because without their consent. While there is no federal constitutional right to privacy that's really enshrined in any statute that I know about, I could be wrong. There might be case law out there that contradicts this, or maybe tries to supplement it. But there are state rights of privacy. For example, there is one in California. If you're just out in public, like, you can't just go and like take someone's picture and film them without their consent. Obviously, if you're like hosting an event and you're filming it and you're letting everybody know about it, and they basically are like, you know, if you're going to be here, you might be filmed, or you consent to being filmed, that's a bit different. But if someone is, if they're trespassing, essentially, you could make an argument, I think, especially if you like start recording and you say on camera, hey, kind of like with cops, if they're pulling you over, I believe there is case law out there now that says, you know, you can basically have your camera up and say to the officer, I'm filming this. And I believe that that's okay. If you're feeling threatened, especially if it's like in your own personal living space, I think you're allowed, and no one's really going to convict you of going, hey, you're stalking me, go away, I'm recording this. It's not like you're just going out to antagonize somebody, it's in defense. That's the furthest of my knowledge. I'm not a lawyer. That's what I think. Jax Rumgam, what's up? Thank you for joining. Okay, if anyone has another suggestion, please let me know. I'm going to start looking again. So the narrator does not have a legal defense for not taking a photo. I mean, defenses, I think, are affirmative. You know, you can use it. Oh, I see what you're meaning. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah. No, it's a gray area, but I don't think anyone's going to be like, I'm going to countersue you for taking a picture of me as I'm stalking and trespassing you. You could try. I don't think it's gonna stand up. Wait, a no sleep that is only 5 words loan? No, sorry, no sleep title. I know, right? Well, that's probably why I clicked on it. Okay, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Please leave some suggestions in the chat if you have any. Otherwise, I'll keep looking. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Attention, all good shop customers. And David says, I'll re-upload good shop. Is it gone? Oh, you must mean the Midnight Marinara. It's a Slime Beast story. Yeah. I could. He's in the chat. We could embarrass Slime Beast with his writing that I'm a big fan of. I did also read David's story, and David was here. Yeah, no, do it. Ain't something good. I don't remember if I've read this one or not, and if I have, it was a very, very, very long time ago. Oh, by the way, Slime Beast, the Slimy Stories page is loading very, very slow. Don't know if that's just the server or the host or whatever, but that is a thing. Wow, really slow. I clicked on this like 30 seconds ago. It'll come up. It's just meh. There we go. Embarrass me by enjoying my work. Oh no. Oh no, it'd be embarrassing if someone read my story and liked it. Please don't do that. It is a short one. Okay. Alrighty then. This is Attention Good Shop Customers by Slimebeast, who no one's ever heard of, on slimebeast.com. Attention Good Shop Customers. Welcome to another wonderful day of shopping at your Good Shop Super Mall. This is our 47th year of operation, and we thank you for making this possible. Please enjoy your day and let us know how we can serve you better. Need that morning boost? Visit the Neat Nut Coffee Shop for any Neat Nut. You ever given a neat nut? For anything from a mild pick-me-up to an exhilarating rush of stay-awake superpower, the Neat Nut accepts our Good Shop customer card. Looking good? Spending less? Trendy Touch has what you need. Get the perfect accessory or an entirely new style at Trendy Touch. From head to toe, Trendy Touch has anything your fashion sense desires. I'm getting a real, oh gosh, what's that called? Faceless Corporation vibe from this. Like, this is a shopping mall that they own and operate. Lost? Confused? Good Shop Super Mall is the largest in the world. Ask any one of our hundreds of assistance drones for directions. They can even keep you up to date on sales and print coupons on the spot. You can also report shoplifters and vandals to our tried and true assistance drones, who will handle it in a hurry. It's like Chopping Mall. I'm just getting an image of the Chopping Mall robot. Breakfast is served. Come to the food court now for your choice of piping hot bagels, donuts, and more. The first meal of your shopping day is an important one. Why not try changing things up with a cinnamon pretzel? Cinnamon pretzels for breakfast? Sea Salt Spa and Massage is here for you. Feeling tired and run down, barely able to stand? Try the patented Water of Life chemical treatments at Sea Salt Spa and Massage. This groundbreaking scientific marvel has been proven to not only reinvigorate, but also to extend human life well beyond its former limit. Water of Life, aquavitae? So like alcohol? Did you know all of our shops now accept the Good Shop customer card? Our maintenance drones have finally completed work. Now you can keep shopping without cash or credit cards. Don't stop now. There are more deals just around the corner. And that's really where the eeriness hits. So, what exactly goes on the Good Shop customer card, I wonder? Is it your life points? Need a moment to rest? Enjoy the comfortable seating in our customer lounge for 2.5 minutes. That is all you are allowed. Time to get up and get shopping. Hit It Hardware is having a sale on tools and workbenches. Act now and receive a free Hit It Hardware work apron. When it comes to your home improvement needs, Hit It hits the nail on the head. Time to get up and get shopping. Hit It Hardware, and so it's the same thing again. Time to get up and get shopping. So now this is like day 2, maybe? No, still same day. Attention, Good Shop customers. For the next 3 minutes, we will be testing our disaster alert system. Please cover your ears if loud noises cause you discomfort. Thank you for your understanding as we ensure your safety through Thank you for your understanding as we ensure your safety. Thorough periodic tests. Slimebeast. Through. Welcome back to your Good Shop Super Mall. If this is your first visit, please ask one of our friendly assistance drones for a tour. If you're a returning customer, get shopping. You're a valuable part of the Good Shop family. Get refreshed. Grab a Popo Cola from any one of our well-placed vending machines. We have all your favorites: Popo, Diet Popo, Popo Dark, and more. Simply swipe your Good Shop customer card through the appropriate slot and enjoy the flavor. Wild Willie's Pet Shop is currently closed due to stock issues. There's currently no scheduled date for reopening. We apologize for any inconvenience. All the pets are gone. Batter up. Savings are flying across home plate, and now is your chance to swing. Visit Hardball Sporting Goods and check out the awesome variety of sporting equipment and activewear. Hardball has pump jump sports sneakers, and supplies are limited, trading those worn out soles for the experience of walking on air. You can trade in your shoes? It's kind of weird. Shouldn't it be trade up or something? There is literally a burger place called Wild Willie's near where I work. Real life. Creepypasta IRL. Lunchtime! Get to the food court now and enjoy pizza, burgers, tacos, and more. Your Good Shop Super Mall is stocked to serve thousands upon thousands of customers each day, so you know we have what you want. Why not try Admiral Blubb's fried fish? Sorry, exit access is prohibited pending. Sorry, exit access is prohibited pending. Sorry, please do not stress door systems. Thank you. People are trying to get out and they can't. Sorry, exit access is prohibited pending security protocol updates from Good Shop headquarters. Customer safety is key. Imagine being locked in a mall all day. It's kind of like indoor malls are a weird thing to me because I grew up in California and pretty much all of ours are outdoors. So it's always strange when I see on TV or when I go to other states and there's completely indoor malls. It's kind of a weird thing for me. It does feel a tad claustrophobic actually, because for me it was always like, man, there's like 1,000 exits to get out of here. I've never be locked in here. Now, not in the mood for fish, Nero Jr.'s Pizza Palace offers the Meat Explosion Pizza. If you can name a type of meat, it's on there. Use your Good Shop customer card and earn points towards a free family-size pie. Oh no, is it made of family? Please do not stress Windows systems, thank you. Assistance drones to level 4. Assistance drones to level 4. All customers, please clear space for our friendly assistance drones, thank you. This is reminding me of that it was a security drone and it fell into a fountain pool, and like the way the article was presented, it was like, oh, it randomly just committed suicide, ha ha ha. But it's just, I'm getting that image in my head of assistance drones just randomly overriding their own programming and just falling into things. Now that lunchtime is over, why not jog off those extra calories at Healthiverse Gym? If you have a membership, you have unlimited access. If you haven't joined, why not do so now? You don't need ID, just use your Good Shop customer card. Stand by for an update. If you are currently located near Healthiverse Gym, please stand back as our floor drones remove the spill. We apologize for any inconvenience. Weakness, depression, upset stomach, diarrhea. Visit LifeLabs Pharmacy. Let the automated pharmacist diagnose your issues with a few simple questions and watch it go to work by selecting the cure. Good Shop is proud to support LifeLabs and its global initiative to end Nackerson's plague. Attention Good Shop customers, it is now time for our afternoon drawing. Don't stop shopping, but keep your ears open for that magic number. Who will be our customer of the day, earning an additional 1,000 credits on their Good Shop customer card? Will it be you, or even you? Let's find out now. Today's lucky winner is custom 0000000002387. Congratulations. So there's only 2,387 out of a estimated, good lord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like hundreds of billions or something. Congratulations, you have earned enough credits for a real shopping spree. Don't fret if you didn't win this time. With a random drawing every 24 hours, there's another opportunity every day of the week. Just ask yesterday's winner. It was also 2387. Oh no. Please do not stress the door systems. Thank you. Please do not stress the door systems. Thank you. Yay. Yay. Yeah, no, that was good. And it's I like pastas like this because they are they're a different format than you typically get. And there's nothing wrong with the first person tried and true method, but it's just things overheard in a super mall of the future. I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, it's very obvious what its strengths are. You either like it or you don't. And the horror is nicely wedged into, very obvious sentences, but it's punctuated in a very good pace. So yeah. Good work, slime beast. Stuck to no real horror. Delete, please. No real horror. Um, I can look outside and prove that this isn't real. Therefore, it can't. Stupid. All right. What else do we got here? Looking for other stories. Hmm. Not finding a lot. A lot of it's too short, which is a problem. Okay, well, let's just go look at No Sleep again then. Sort by controversial on No Sleep. Oh god. Do I dare? Can you sort by controversial? Yeah, I know you can. Why do I not see the option? It's weird. Whatever. So, okay. So we looked at The Thing in the Alley, and the newest one since then is I was on my way to work when a cat led me into the woods. My name is Joshua. I'm a good Christian man. How long is this? Kind of short. Serial, series, isolation. I already did that. I work for NASA now. I know what we really saw on Mars. Oh, this is probably just gonna make me angry. It's also a little bit long. Whatever. I haven't read some sci-fi in a while. Okay. I work for NASA and I know what we really saw on Mars off of No Sleep by Depsurrel. Depsurrel. Like deep surreal, but Depsurrel. Weird. When I was 11, my mother bought me a telescope from a novelty store. It was old, about 10 or so years maybe, slightly rusted from time, but never used. The next night, I went out to a small field and used it to gaze into the sky. The moment the reflected lights of the planet shined into my eyes was the moment I knew what I wanted to do. Our twin sister Venus, so alike and yet more different than we could ever imagined, Jupiter, the titanic guardian of the inner planets, morphing the system around it, Saturn with her beautiful and luscious rings that envelop her sky, Mercury, a small and rapid rock that was closer to the light than anyone on Earth could withstand, and most of all, Mars, the red planet, a fearsome war-born neighbor. And what would be the next step on humanity's path to the stars? I knew with just one look that I wanted to help guide us on that path. Okay. Perfectly okay opening. I'm gonna go shut my door. Yeah, I'm closing you out because you're bugging me. Can you see all of these planets from one place in one night? No, but I think it was more I mean, that kind of is how it's presented, but you could also just assume that they're talking about, hey, when I saw all these over the years, that was my, thing. I've been working at NASA for over 15 years now, and in that time, I've seen dozens of proposals for a manned landing on Mars. Hundreds of people spend weeks at a time discussing the engineering process behind designing a craft capable of carrying out the task of transporting mankind back and forth between the two planets. Millions of dollars poured into projects that never came to light, and for the longest time, the problem was that we simply couldn't feasibly land someone on the planet and then help them return home safely. In part, that was one of the reasons we launched the Mars exploration rovers. Okay, perfectly fine so far. This is all true, as far as I can tell. If you don't know, I'll go over it briefly. The MER, Mars Exploration Rovers, so there it would be useful to just put in, parentheses, MER, just so we know that that's referring to that. The MER was a mission that involved launching 2 rovers to explore the surface of Mars, and the 2 were named Spirit and Opportunity. They would be the successors to the prior Sojourner rover. The data collected thanks to the MER is invaluable, and at any other time I'd love to divulge them. They were only, but they're not going to? Isn't that kind of the point of this? Whatever. They were only planned to last 90 days, but the guys back in engineering seriously put in some effort. It lasted longer than they should have after arriving in early 2004. For most of the mission, it wasn't too special. We gathered as much data as we could, had the rovers explore their surroundings, mine up rocks sometimes, nothing too special to write home about, unless you're really interested in Martian minerals. I am, and supposedly people reading about Mars would be. That would have been nice. Officially, Spirit's mission ended after getting stuck in a sand pit in 2009, losing all power the year later, and the mission declared complete after another year. This is partially true. Spirit really did lose her power after she got stuck. It's partially our fault. She had fallen into a slight dip in the ground, and the risk of falling deeper was huge. We assumed it was a sand pit and acted like we always had, but alas, it wasn't. Upon instructing her to escape, Spirit lost her footing, falling into a deep hole. Her signal strength was heavily weakened by her fall, and the sands of Mars were destined to bury the rover alive. Poor robot. I spent most of the time with Spirit after she fell in. It's strange, yes, but I felt and still feel an attachment to the rovers. Seeing her trapped in the dunes of Mars was like watching my daughter trip into a well. Still, she remained operational for nearly 2 months, even if the data she was sending quickly became the same tedious graphics and images that were hampered by time. Most of our crew shift-focused Opportunity, but I stayed behind with Spirit. The closer she got to the end of her lifespan, the longer we had to wait between responses. The last time we heard from her officially was in late March. We tried for months to communicate, partially at my insistence. Spirit was like my child. I wouldn't let her go so easily. This is pretty damn strong, especially for No Sleep. It's not really burdened by any front loading yet, except for the title, of course. But all that we're really told by the title is there's something that you don't realize that we saw on Mars, and it's not like ghosts of Mars. It's not, world-ending bacteria. It's, if it is any of these things, we haven't been spoiled on it yet. And the beginning is perfectly good too. Our narrator loves astronomy, astrobiology, whatever you want to call it, and we're learning about them working at NASA, and none of it really seems unbelievable or strange. It's all very well grounded. As usual, I'm waiting for this to completely shit the bed, but hopefully it doesn't. And we get this sense of our narrator really caring about their job and really caring about this topic, which tells me that the author really cares about this topic. So I have confidence that this story is at least going to be solid. Okay. My persistence paid off in the end. In late December, Spirit responded to a data request. From what I could tell, she had somehow fallen even deeper, finding a cave. By some miracle, she remained upright, allowing us to maneuver her through the cavern. Now, this is where my expertise in engineering comes to a halt. Transmitting to something on the planet's surface, even across a very, very large distance, can be done. If something is underground, can you penetrate the planet's outer crust to do that? Wouldn't that be like not like would you not be able to get a signal down there? It's like if you go under into a basement, you can't get a signal usually, like a cell phone signal. You might be able to get Wi-Fi if you have repeaters, but I don't think you can get any other type of signal. I could be relay station. Paprika says relay station. You're gonna have to explain a little bit more in detail because I don't like. There's a relay station on the planet they set up along with the rovers, or a relay station in orbit or something. Anyway, please do explain that, and then I'll read it. When we requested an image, she obliged, and 6 minutes later, the delay between receiving orders and sending data thanks to the distance, it arrived, and what we saw was baffling to say the least. It was a perfectly vertical wall, with strange unknown symbols carved into its surface. Okay, so we've now gone into astroarchaeology or xenoarchaeology, which is what everybody wants out of Martian exploration, other than how we can terraform and survive there. We all want to find evidence of Martians. That's what we want. Paprika says, I don't know, but you could get a signal if you relay it. Okay, so you'd have to set up a relay station like at the mouth of the cavern and send it back, which just presents a lot of problems because if the cavern is winding, like this is, you could, but you would need like a system, and I don't think they set up for that. But it's a sci-fi horror story. Okay. There are many possible explanations for this, so nobody on the crew jumped to an extraterrestrial as the cause. Extraterrestrial. We ordered Spirit to get closer and take another photo. It never arrived. Spirit stopped responding once again, likely due to her dying batteries. I thought that was it for her. The image was classified to keep the public from freaking out, at least until we determined an explanation behind the sigils in the wall. Shortly after that, Spirit's mission was declared complete. And then, out of the blue, she sent an image. And Abysme drank some coffee. This was puzzling. It was the only thing she had sent, despite the hundreds of requests for other forms of data and status updates after the last picture. My guess is that Spirit had actually received her previous order for a photograph, but for whatever reason was unable to send it back until that point. Due to the circumstances, barely anyone was made aware of the incident. It was just me and a few others to examine the picture. It was pitch black. You couldn't make out anything even if you tried. That is, until someone suggested brightening it. Enhance. Zoom in. Pixelate. Depixelate. Denoise. It was still near total darkness, but in the corner there were two very distinct red dots aimed directly at the camera. We couldn't shake how much they looked like eyes. That would be like if I'm a NASA engineer and I'm seeing red dots in an image relayed over a very long distance, I'm thinking those are artifacts. I'm not thinking, yep, them's eyes. And the previous paragraph had, well, we saw this giant vertical wall with carved sigils, but no one jumped to extraterrestrial life. But those two red dots, those are eyes. That seems a little inconsistent. Like, you're not, like, carved sigils? How do you mistake that? How do you mistake a vertical wall with carved sigils? It's kind of like, there's tons of, pictures that people go, oh, it's clearly blank, and it's like a fuzzy piece of shit. But carved sigils? Apart from that, the cavern was slightly visible, appearing to be a vastly different location than we had last seen. Spirit must have moved significantly, but where to, and more importantly how, was something I'm still not entirely sure of. Most of the attention was drawn to the red glowing dots. This wasn't necessarily proof of anything. There are several possible answers for what they could be. That should have been at the beginning of the paragraph. The camera might have detected large pieces of dust, and due to the quality loss of brightening, it appeared much rounder than it really was. It could be a reflection of the rover's lights on the cave wall. That's the answer we settled on. But I knew something was off. I think my colleagues did too. let the reader think something is off. Don't go through all these hoops. You know, if you're gonna pass off the freaking carved sigils as nothing, then you should also have the same attitude towards the red dots, like consistently. That was the last we've received from Spirit. We stopped trying to communicate with her. We had more important things to do to put our focus on, namely the remaining rover. Uh, but you're still getting messages. Like, wouldn't you want to just keep doing this until you've really confirmed that Spirit's like not functioning? I imagine it's costly for a budget and it takes a lot of attention. I don't know. I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to hear from Spirit. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I've always considered Opportunity and and our remaining rover Opportunity and Curiosity, who was to be launched in November. I've always considered Opportunity and Spirit to be twins, brother and sister with a shared purpose of propelling humanity into the future, taking after their eldest brother Sojourner. I was still studying when Sojourner was active, but I can try and dig around for information on him sometime later. In part 2, I've heard he has some interesting findings, but I'm getting off track. Opportunity is much the star of the MER. He lasted for over 15 years on the harsh Martian landscape, powering through dust, rock, and time with the passionate hearts of 7 billion people behind him. Oppie, as he came to be called, was for a few months the only active rover until Curiosity's arrival in 2012. Although not as focused on the subject of life as his younger sibling, he still provided invaluable information. I've never been more proud of a little rover in my life than I was of this little guy. Without his twin, Oppie had to function alone, even if only for a short period. Still, I didn't want him to feel alone without Spirit, so I dedicate her memory to him. There is a charming wholesomeness to how much personification the narrator is giving to these drones, or rovers. And I like that that is consistent. I do. Oppie's mission officially came to a halt 2 years ago. A severe dust storm had sent him into hibernation, a sleep from which he would never awaken. Last February, we stopped trying to awaken him and bid farewell to Opportunity. That's the official story. And unlike Spirit, it's much further from the truth. And there's a damn good reason for keeping it secret. Alright, so we've hit upon the crux. Anyone who follows this knows, Sandstorm made it impossible for the photocells to get power from the sun. And no, it's something completely else. This has to pay off hardcore because there's nothing wrong with a sandstorm or a severe dust storm ruining the rovers. It is a scary thought, kind of, because we don't really have dust storms of that level on Earth, and the Martian versions are kind of spooky and awe-inspiring. Derude intensifies. All right. Although he was supposed to be in hibernation during the storm, Oppie would occasionally send back information about odd, seemingly volcanic rocks. This was obviously startling, and not just because the rover was somehow operating during hibernation, where he was stationed. Oppie wasn't in range of any volcanic fixtures. The only way he could be sending this data was if he somehow reactivated during the storm, and if a group of volcanic rocks just so happened to have been pushed by the winds close enough for him to reach. It doesn't seem impossible, though. Why is that so out of the ordinary? Granted, I do not have a lot of expertise in this, but if it is a severe dust storm, why can't you have volcanic rocks blown across the planet over time? It's not weird to me. Maybe include a sentence about why that's weird so I don't question it. And fuck off. Add. Ugh. So annoying. And now I gotta find my place again. Okay. Needless to say, the chances of that occurring are slim to none. Knowing the media... Why? No, it's not needless. Why can't a volcanic rock show up in other places of the planet over time? Like dust storms. I don't whatever. Knowing the media panic that ensued from the implications, all of this was quickly classified. What are the implications? What are the... I don't... Hmm. Opportunity would officially be declared as inoperative and would remain that way until further notice. Unofficially, research continued. The same team that worked with Spirit after she fell into that cave was assembled to investigate this mystery, myself included. Oppie would still carry out the tasks instructed of him, and as such, an image was requested. In response, he sent back an almost natural photo of the Martian landscape. An almost natural? Nothing seemed out of the ordinary except for the rocks. Lying on the ground next to his wheels were 6 perfectly cut hexagonal prisms made out of what looked to be obsidian. Lowering the camera and taking another photo, markings were discovered in the objects. Unnervingly, they were all facing the screen and perfectly aligned at that. This is like the Blair Witch meets Ghost of Mars. And yes, I would watch that movie. The markings on the objects were strange, to say the least. They resembled hieroglyphics in a way, yet they remained distinctly different. What felt especially eerie was that they resembled the sigils Spirit had found years prior. Oh no, the sigils that everyone just wrote off? Oh, what a surprise. Scanning them gave us the exact same data Oppie was sending us during the storm. Normally, in a scientific situation, we try to take things logically. The reason we don't accept aliens did it as a solution to every mystery we encounter in space is that, in science, our goal is to find a natural explanation behind all observed phenomena. That implies that aliens are not natural. But I have a problem with that because, like, yeah, we haven't found aliens beyond bacteria yet, but other life in the universe is not an unnatural thing. I think what should be said here is more aliens did it as a weak explanation because there's other phenomena that could happen, such as blank. Like that just, I know what you're saying by that, but it's poorly worded. And in all situations we find ourselves in, there is one. Our goal is to find it. There was nothing explainable nor natural about this. Still assuming, what is not... People carving stuff into rocks is natural. Still assuming, I think you mean like occurring... Again, I know what you mean by that, but this is... I just wouldn't phrase it this way. Still assuming we had discovered alien life... We had just discovered alien life, they should have left traces of something when interacting with objects. That would have been picked up by Oppie during his scans. If Opportunity was the one who placed the objects, that also doesn't make sense. The rocks weren't there before the storm, and the wheels are much too slow for Oppie to have somehow found them and returned to his location. Besides that, why would he behave in this way? He had to have been instructed to do this by something we were somehow unable to detect, something that came from during the storm. After a short debate, we instructed Oppie to pick up each prism and photograph it individually in hopes of possibly understanding what they were supposed to be. What would be up for debate? Like, they look toxic or caustic and they're gonna melt the rover's arms. They are possibly explosives. There's really not much to debate, I imagine. Multiple theories started up in the control room, quickly diverting attention. Assuming it was genuinely alien life, it is way too deliberate to have been an accident. Whatever alien life did this would be at least moderately intelligent. Maybe it was trying to greet us? But if that's the case, why like this? If it's aware we're watching, then why doesn't it show itself? The debates continued as Opportunity sent back photographs. To the answer to all those questions, you need to read Childhood's End. Basically, the answer is humans be dumb. Taking a break from the conversation, I briefly looked at the screen and immediately froze. The most recent image was a second prism. Almost nothing unusual about that, other than the fact that it's an alien artifact. But in the very far distance of the screen stood... something. It was almost impossible to see behind all of the dust. I couldn't make out much of anything regarding the figure's appearance. I chalked it up to maybe being one of the other prisms, and the angle had made it appear further away. The third image disproved that. The figure was visibly closer this time. It was half naked and gaunt and was standing outside my apartment, but still difficult to make out. From where it was shot, it was obvious whatever I was looking at was humanoid. It was rather short, about the size of a teenager. Teenagers can be tall. I took a moment, then waited for the fourth image. When it arrived, I nearly took a step back. At that point, it was clear that whatever this was, it had to be some sort of creature, and it was making its way toward Hoppy. They were much easier to see, judging by the sudden halt and chatter around me. They were hunched over, standing on a jagged and clawed feet. A glimmer of red could be seen glaring at the camera, the same crimson shade captured by Spirit in her last photograph. Equally red teeth could be seen in the beast's maddened grin, lined around a long snout. The creepy aliens. It had several large protrusions emerging from the back of its head, almost like tentacles in the form of hair. Hanging above its head were two very long tails, seemingly longer than the creature was tall, and sharp thorns covering them like razor wire. Making the alien a creepy, like, weird tentacle monster feels superfluous. Like, this is the no sleep effect. We found aliens on Mars. That in of itself is such a powerful concept. Granted, it's been done a lot, but it's something that so many people just want to happen. They want proof of this. That, by itself is a very powerful concept and premise. It does not need to be, and then I saw a super clear image and it was super scary, guys. It had weird tentacles and, Mr. Widemouth grin. Like, it's making an icon pasta out of an alien, and, oh man, I don't know. It just doesn't, by the alien's actions and its surroundings should be enough to inspire dread. But this is no sleep. You gotta have a spooky monster. It can't be anything else. I wasn't afraid of its appearance, but you're clearly trying to make the readers afraid. I was afraid that whatever this thing was, it was walking on the surface of Mars with apparently no issue. I was afraid of the malice in its eyes. I wasn't afraid of its appearance. I was afraid of the malice in its eyes, though. I can't describe what it felt like. They pierced down into my soul, racking my heart with fear until it pounded uncontrollably, as if it was ready to burst from its cage. It didn't feel like it was looking at the rover, nor the camera. It felt like it was looking at us. It couldn't be. It couldn't know. How did... Aliens can't be more advanced than us, or on similar intellectual level. No. Even if it was aware the rover could see, it couldn't possibly know what Oppie's purpose is, and it certainly couldn't predict when the images are taken. The data transmission takes 6 minutes total, from when the order is sent to when it is received, and my heart stopped. The images were 3 minutes old. We were looking at the past. The creature was already at the rover. It's going to disassemble it for parts. It's going to soup up its Martian rover. Before I could even react to the realization, the screen flickered to what should have shown the fifth prism. Instead, the camera was tilted over to face the creature, whose claws were wrapped around Oppie's body. Animosity filled its scornful gaze. The crimson red that outlined its eyes and teeth took on a new hue, the same as the red rocks of Mars. From the height of the photo, the creature must have been lifting Oppie. The sixth image was never received. Opportunity never responded to any of our communication attempts after it sent that picture. As far as anyone here knows, the creature destroyed the rover, leaving Curiosity alone on the barren surface. I'm gonna look at some comments real quick. They should have kept to the Blair Martian Project style. Yeah, no, less is more. Less is more. Imagine a normal-looking rock, but it cracks suddenly, and the cracks glow with some alien Morse code light that can't be decrypted. Yeah, these are all good ideas. You can play along with the less is more approach and make it scientific and apply the scientific method and just the point of these rovers. But it's a shame because you have this premise of, I'm an engineer with the rovers. This is how the tests work. This is how we interpret data. But all we really have is, and then an alien popped up. I saw these sigils, thought nothing of it. I saw these red dots, thought nothing of it. And there was a little bit of exploration with that, but we got to get to the alien who pops up, and it looks evil and wants to destroy humanity. Meh. Eh. Less is more, but less get you deleted from No Sleep for not being horror. Seriously, though, like, that's probably why this is chock full of a weird grinning alien. Well. Obviously, it was very quickly decided that none of this would become public. Internally, we were a mess afterwards. It was undeniable proof of alien life, which we had searched so long to find, and yet, while nobody could say why, it was more unnerving than exciting. We expected microbes, not an animal, let alone an intelligent one. That's what gets to me the most. The way its eyes locked into mine. There's nothing I can say that could possibly describe the feeling of an abject hatred in that beast's eyes. That wasn't instinct, it was malice. It hated humanity and it hated Earth, and it wanted us to know that. Cool. I mean, unless it's got spaceships and it's gonna come kill us all, who cares? It lives on a desert planet, but I guess maybe it has underground facilities. Like, this ruins the story. It hampers anywhere it can go from here, and it, as I said in the beginning, it shit the bed, and it started out strong, and I hate it when that happens, but this is No Sleep. Ugh. Ugh. Despite how horrifying the ordeal felt, I kept my composure as best I could and assisted in the cover up. I don't think I abandoned my morals, nor do I think that NASA did the wrong thing by hiding this. Hell, even now I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by telling you all, but I'm doing it anyway. 'Cause No Sleep rules. The discovery of life on another planet should be one of excitement, not dread. That's what I wanted people to feel when we made the announcement, and so the true fate of opportunity remained in the shadows. I know a few people who tried to go public about it, posting online, telling friends and family. This meta stuff doesn't matter. Nobody believes them, and NASA knew that. No, they're not dead in a ditch somewhere. There's not a lot of people with the education expertise necessitated for our means, and besides, it'd be more suspicious if they did end up in a ditch. They did get one hell of a pay cut, though, that's for sure. Ha ha ha. So, why am I finally telling you all about this? Well, let me tell you. Sure, there's no risk to my life, and hey, they can cut my pay in half and I'll still be making more than the average family, but I supported them. Is that still true? I thought NASA got its funding reduced. But I supported them, helped them cover this, and I even sympathized with their reasoning. Well, it's because of what I saw last week. Due to the quarantine, I've been spending all my time here at base, monitoring Curiosity's search. Everything was going well, nothing out of the ordinary until that Saturday. Due to the quarantine, I'm spending more time at work. Is NASA an essential function? Like, you could probably run a skeleton crew and just do a lot of monitoring. Granted, I don't think you can do a lot of remote work. Yeah, okay. I guess. It was almost midnight when I noticed it. Oh, did I skip something? Yeah, okay. Due to the quarantine, I've been spending all my time here at base monitoring Curiosity's search. Everything was going well, nothing out of the ordinary until that Saturday. It was almost midnight when I noticed it. There it was, in the most recent photograph, just sitting there, tauntingly. 6 hexagonal prisms, each turned towards Curiosity. The creature I had seen, that we had all seen, and chose to deny. You didn't deny it, you just publicly omitted it. It sat atop a large rock, glaring to the camera with a tilted head. Its eyes and muzzle burrowed into a mocking expression. I can almost hear it sneer. This is all so pointless now. We get it. You're scared of the alien and it hates us for reasons that you can only describe as an emotional reaction. This is trying to be kind of Lovecraft of, oh my god, the thing. It defies logic. But the problem is, like, that's the trade-off. Lovecraft leaves some details out so the reader can fill in the blanks themselves, and this is just putting the whole thing out there and then just keeps saying it. Most everyone else was asleep or had left, so the decision came down to me. I just stood there, dumbfounded. This couldn't be the same creature. It just couldn't be. Curiosity is thousands of kilometers from Opportunity. How could it have traveled that distance on foot? I knew by all logic it had to be a different member of the same species, or maybe it has a vehicle. But something in its eyes, the purely crimson dots, it told a different story. They were the same. I saw them through spirit's eyes. I saw them through Oppi's. Hesitating and shaking, I sent a photo request and waited the 6 long minutes for a response. I was greeted by the sight of the creature, grinning maniacally. It was gesturing to the ground beneath its feet, standing there with the prisms, the clearest shot of all 6 at once. The sigils inscribed in their faces as visible as the hatred in the beast's soul. I've still yet to decode what they mean. I requested one more image on the off chance that curiosity was spared destruction. What I saw is why I finally broken my vow of secrecy. It's why I'm telling you all this. Hell, it's why I might spill everything I can find. Knowing this thing existed on the Red Planet, how intelligent it was, and how scornful of man it seemed to be, that alone horrified me to want to forget the beast. It had crawled from the depths of insanity, the core of the planet of war itself. Oh God. Stop. One single soldier capable of tearing through the strongest allies we could construct. Just one. And in the last photo, there were thousands. Oh my God. Boo. Boo. No sleep, you have taken my goodwill once again, and you have cast it to the ground, spit upon it, kicked dirt on it, and mocked me. They won't dare come here. We humans are more hostile. Yeah, we could just send a fucking missile. This were Independence Day, we would just bomb the fuck out of Mars. Alright, well. That was I work for NASA, and now I know what we really saw on Mars, which is not getting an upvote for me. Because I mean, this is the catch-22. If the author hadn't put all this bullshit in there, this probably would have been deleted for not being horror. And I do sympathize with that. But I also don't like it. And I don't think it's good writing. It took a very, very strong opening. And like, the premise was good. It was going to be kind of a scientific approach. And then it just wasn't. I saw spooky images. This is basically just, I'm on the deep web and creepy shit happens on my computer. Mr. Greenwitcher says, also, why does the author think that they can get to us? How are these soldiers able to destroy everything so easily? How does he know they mean harm? Yeah, there was a lot of, like, telling and not showing, oh, they can rip through alloy. I don't even remember reading that they did rip through strong alloy. Like, I guess they're very strong. Yeah, there's so many holes. And it's all just in service of, hey, spooky alien. And that's it. That's it. Whatever. Okay, been streaming for an hour and a half. I think I've got one more in me. Let me look. You know what? I wonder. The Mysterious Life of a Cryptid Hunter, Part 2. Wait, can I go? Yeah, I'm on new. Where's that one about the good Christian boy? There it is. How long is this? Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll stop with this. Or end with this, I should say. Okay. I was on my way to work when a cat led me into the woods by the real creature 108. Well, that's how you know they're the real one. There's a 108. My name is Joshua. I'm a good Christian man. I live with my dear wife and darling children in a pleasant suburban house and have a stable office job. We attend church on Sundays. My life is perfect, free of problems and worry, and I live it in Jesus' name. I'm a good Christian man. Yesterday I was walking to work and my car had gone in for repairs. Walking from the suburbs in a town in my suit, I wondered at the emptiness of the streets. Sure, I don't live in a bustling metropolis, but the place was as silent as a vacant parking lot. My briefcase was heavy with papers, files, and bills and forms. I could tell it was going to be a productive day. Suddenly, a cat appeared in front of me, and I said, "Begone, Satan!" Its fur was as black as night, and it had two harsh yellow eyes. Oh, really, black cat? We're doing this? Okay. Sharp white teeth peeked out from beneath a thin pink lip. I backed away, a shiver of fear running down my spine. Everyone knows that black cats are bad omens, symbols of death. No, only yokels think that. Oh, man. Its fur was as the cat licked its paw and sauntered into the woods on the side of the road as relaxed and carefree as a man out for a noon stroll. I envied it. Damn you, Satan, I wish I could be a man of leisure. A few blocks later, I found myself changing direction. My legs veered off the main road, and I found myself wandering down a narrow dirt trail into the woods. The harsh croaking of birds blocked all other sounds. Enormous trees drank the sunlight. Shadows seemed to loom behind every rotting trunk. The air was filled with the foul stench of decay and death. My heart beat faster, but I wasn't afraid. Not really. Jesus would keep me safe. I was a good Christian man. I had nothing to fear. Why would you not do the whole "lo, though I walk through the valley of death" part there? Like, if you're going to play up this Christian part, do that. The woods were dank and miserable, much like my ex-wife, but I found myself tripping over tree roots and grazing my arms against sharp branches. I wanted to stop, but my body refused to listen to my commands. Of course, I was on my way to work, but fuck it. No reason to do this. On and on I went, stumbling through the dark, lonely vegetation. A soft roar could be heard over the birds, along with the velvet purring of a cat. I rubbed my hands. They felt dirty, tainted with sin. Through a veil of tears, I studied my watch. I knew I wouldn't be late for work, not for a long time. Then why the fuck are you out this early? If you've already put like a lot of time between having to walk to work, whatever. Blinded by anger and tears, I wrenched my backpack from my shoulders and ripped it open, hands shaking. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Jesus spaghetti. I drew out the first crumpled document, a notice of dismissal. Impossible. This couldn't be my briefcase. I had a stable, secure job. This had to be a mistake. A notice of dismissal, as in someone dismissed their case and they're giving you notice of it? Or a pink slip? Is that what you mean? Shoving my arm back into the case, hardly daring to breath, I pulled out another paper, a sordid letter from a married man to his lover. The handwriting was mine. Hands shaking, knees weak, Jesus spaghetti. I pulled page after page out of that cursed case. Every single one broke me a little more. What is happening? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Oh, man. There were reports of bullying at school, long receipts with large numbers listing every brand of beer in the market, reports of domestic abuse. Some of the pages were stained red. The carefully crafted illusion I had built lay shattered around me like a broken glass. Visions struck like needles, piercing my skin. Visions of a violent alcoholic, a man who had been fired from work, neglected his children, a man who had beaten his wife. This is trying to be the Twilight Zone and failing. Impossible. I was a good Christian man. I glanced at my hand. Black blood dripped from open, rotting sores. I broke into a sprint, leaving a trail of dirty papers behind me. I needed salvation, forgiveness. For what felt like hours, I raced through the woods like a man possessed by the devil or that cat I found. The vegetation blurred together into a horrific, blurred mess of dulls, greens, and grays. I felt every second. At last, a light appeared before me, solid and golden, safe and warm. Desperate, I dived the last few feet out of the woods. I had to get out. This isn't a story. This is a... I don't know what this is. This is goop. Stop talking goop. I felt a gentle warmth on my face. Rays of sunlight dappled lush growths of bright green grass. Before me was a sheer cliff, at the bottom of which was a sparkling blue lake, crystal clear. The sound of peaceful whistling and the fragrance of sweet perfume filled the air. My brain floated in a pool of pleasure. This was a place with no suffering, eternal bliss. I stood up. I was confident that this was but a taste of what awaited me if I just stepped off the cliff, and have no agency, and because you have no agency, none of this matters. There's no tension. A drop from that height would kill me, but the water looked so inviting. Just one step, and I could float forever in eternal joy, leave all my worries behind. A soft meow brought me back to my senses. I turned to see the same cat from the road. Its harsh yellow eyes examined me. They seemed dangerous, filled with wisdom and knowledge. Then it casually turned around and walked back toward the dark, foreboding woods, filled with strife and difficulty. Just before it disappeared into the trees, it tilted its small head toward me, inviting me to follow. I had a choice. A single step, and I would be free from my troubles, at peace forever. Or I could travel through the woods, back to the real world, the world of alcoholism, lust, and other unforgivable sins. A single thought burst through the buzz in my head. I wanted to live. With difficulty, I turned away from the eternal bliss of the cliff and followed the cat. My life may be difficult, but I will make things right. I will sort out my problems. I am a good man. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm collecting my thoughts. Mouse, shut up. Okay. Sorry. I know what I want to say, but I kind of just don't want to bother. The idea of someone deluding themselves, such intense self delusion that they are a good person and they are in such denial that they believe their own bullshit is not a new idea, but it's a fine one. And you could do that. Like, you could have a story where this dude's going through life and everyone's kind of just giving him weird looks and not trusting him and like leaving little hints of, clearly he's not who who he thinks he is, and then have it all come crashing down at the end. It'd be a little bit difficult to pull off because, like I said, this is not a new idea, but you could have this devolve into, oh, right, I'm not a good Christian man. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a philanderer. I'm abusive. You can do that. This is not the way to do it. I know the aim here was to be poetic, I suppose, and a lot of purple prose, and it's just, if you're gonna just do a poem. I would like this much more if it was just a poem. Obviously, you can't put that on No Sleep because No Sleep has a lot of restrictions, but I have to wonder if this started out as a poem. It would have been better. I would have enjoyed that better personally because it just exists as is, as in this weird limbo of it's a story, but I'm going to be super creative with the wording, and it's this parable, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not scary. I will actually give No Sleep this. This isn't really scary. I guess it's trying. I wouldn't delete it, but where's the horror? It's just, I'm a good man, but I'm a bad man. That's it. That's all I have to say. Mr. Greenwitcher says, it seems he just went and made sure to check out every cliche regarding Christians and the devil. Yeah. Like, meh. I'm a good man. So by the end, he's no longer Christian. I don't know. The metaphor and the symbols are not great here. It's a Wonderful Life, Cat and Briefcase Edition. All right. That's all I got, people. Thank you for joining me once again, and we will be here again. Oh, what is it? The 18th, next Saturday, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. I have to go feed my cat because she won't shut up. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I will talk to you all later in various formats, and I'll see you here next time. Goodbye.